Who's winning the rideshare battle? Uber or Lyft? Hey everyone, my name is Chris and welcome to the Rideshare Guy. And fellow Rideshare Guy contributor Sergio wrote an article on who he thinks is winning the rideshare wars, whether it's Uber or Lyft. Now in the current climate, both Uber and Lyft are still facing a driver shortage. Some markets are at equilibrium, so there's enough drivers for riders, but many markets are still facing this driver shortage. So we're going to go over the article and we're going to go over what it means for drivers, what it means for riders, and some takeaways, as well as my thoughts on, comparing between Sergio's market in LA and my market in upstate New York. Link to the article is in the description below, so make sure you check it out if you want to read it in full and get some more details, some more comparison pictures, and a lot of different things when it came to the article itself. Again, links in the description below. All right, so first off, let's talk about what this means for drivers. Drivers are getting more promotions, more dynamic pricing in their favor, meaning surge or power zones. The only difference is when it comes to what Uber and Lyft are offering, there is a clear winner, and that has been Uber. Uber has been offering much better promotions, quests, streak bonuses, and surge much more than what Lyft has been, at least in LA market where Sergio is, and including my market in Buffalo. And yeah, Uber is clearly winning that battle when it comes to how they're paying out their drivers, much more than what Lyft is. Now, right here is a side-by-side comparison of both Uber and Lyft and what they're offering drivers at the same place. So you can clearly see that Uber has a much better edge when it comes to their surge pricing over Lyft's personal power zones. Now, all of this means nothing if rides aren't coming in. You need rides to get paid. You need rides to get your bonuses. So what platform are riders choosing that is more attractive for drivers to be on? Seems like Uber, again, is the clear choice, both in Sergio's market and my market. For me personally, my ratio from Uber to Lyft is about 5-to-1. So for every 5 rides I'm giving on Uber, it's usually 1 ride on Lyft. Now, there are a couple of unique circumstances like stacking rides. So if a ride request comes in while I'm still on the ride finishing it up, well, that's obviously going to be skewed in Uber's favor. But even when I'm sitting there and waiting for a ride to come in, most of the time, Uber responds quicker than Lyft if I'm just sitting there waiting. So that wraps it up for the driver side of things. But let's talk about the rider side of things. What are riders seeing? And is there a clear winner when it comes to Uber or Lyft for a rider? We're going to talk about price and time because those are the two major factors on what drives riders to make the decision to go with Uber or Lyft when ordering a rideshare ride. Now, for many riders, what they will do is they will essentially shop for rideshare. And that means they're going to open up both apps and they're going to compare two main factors when it comes to their rides. One, who's going to get there quicker? And two, what the price is. Price obviously being the biggest influencer on what platform they're actually going to order the ride on. So now here is a price comparison picture between both Uber and Lyft for a particular ride. And you could see a huge price difference between the two. So Lyft is showing this ride for almost $100 at $98.99, while Lyft, on the other hand, is just shy of $52. So almost a 50% difference when it comes to the total price that Lyft is charging versus Uber. So if you're a rider and you're price comparison shopping, you're going to go with Uber. And not only that, during this entire time frame, for a driver, the surge amount that they were getting was much higher than, well, Lyft wasn't paying anything extra, to be honest. And the other factor that I was saying was time. And in both circumstances, you would be getting there around 4:15, 4:20 when it came to the drop-off location. So there was no real major significant difference when it came to the time there, but the price would have been a huge factor because, well, who's going to pay $100 when you could pay $50 for the exact same thing? So when it comes to riders and what platform they're going to choose, well, it appears that Uber again is the clear winner, at least in the LA market. Now, the big thing to note is every market can be different. What Uber and Lyft are going to offer the drivers, as well as what they're going to have riders pay, is going to vary both on the time and also the market. So it can be different in many other markets. Lyft could be a winner in a particular area, while Uber could be in another. It all depends when it really comes down to it. Now, when it came to Sergio writing the article, he was writing what his opinion was and what he saw in his particular market of LA. And if you want to read the article, again, link will be in the description below. But somebody did take note of it and tweeted the article out. None other than Uber's CEO, Dara. He did tweet the article on his Twitter, so that was pretty cool to see there when it came down to it. I know in this particular instance, Uber is the clear choice when it comes to the LA market, and again, even in the Buffalo market, but it can vary from market to market. And it did have a couple of great comments and feedback, so I do want to highlight that as well. And you can see Alex right here said Uber's definitely way better than Lyft. I'm not sure why people would even want to drive for Lyft. However, taking 49% of the fare from drivers isn't cool. Hale said, I was in New York City after 18 months. Uber Ride and Uber Eats were just awesome. Nonstop to Vegas said, I've been driving for Uber for over a year now after driving 3 years for Lyft. I was a cabbie before rideshare. Uber is clearly the winner at this point. Driver support is absolutely phenomenal, understanding, and extraordinarily polite. I'd like to help with Vegas GPS map pins. And then Ahmed here just gave a lot of thumbs down to Uber. Now let's go to our Facebook page and a couple of comments that you had said there. Celeste said, in my market, I make more money with Lyft simply because I get more ride requests. Uber's quests pay out more than Lyft's ride challenges, but with Uber, I end up sitting in a parking lot for 20 minutes before I get a ride, whereas I always am getting rides with Lyft. Celeste, what market are you in? Please comment and let us know. David said, Lyft is better than Uber in Detroit. Lyft pickups are typically less than 2 miles away, and Uber pickups are usually 4 to 8 miles away. I just logged into Uber, and I might not get pinged for an hour. Josh said, generally speaking, yes, except for this week. Lyft is offering me $100 more than Uber for 6 less rides. And I have all week to do it instead of 4 days like Uber requires. Chris Lowe says, while generally 2 sides of the same coin, as noted above, my Uber pickups are often more than 10 minutes away and my Lyft pickups are often 5 minutes away. I think this year in LA, Lyft is better for passengers and drivers. I've tried 5 or 6 times to get myself an Uber and never been able to, but I always been able to get myself a Lyft in 15 minutes or less. So that is a difference of opinion when it comes to the LA market. And lastly, even though this is more about rideshare, let's talk about food delivery, where Steve said, I also prefer working Uber Eats over the other delivery driver apps, but sadly, Doordash has become dominant here in Central Maryland. Approximately 10 Doordash orders to 1 Uber Eats here. All right, so that is some of the feedback that people were saying when it came to which one is winning the rideshare wars. Is it Uber or Lyft? Now, as I said earlier, things can vary market to market and even week to week. But we want to hear from you. What's your feedback? What do you think when it comes to who is winning the rideshare wars? Is it Uber or is it Lyft? Please comment with your market. Please comment with, are you a driver? Are you a rider? And what you're seeing as a driver or a rider. If you're both, comment both sides of the thing. And of course, who's winning the rideshare war? Is it Uber or Lyft? Comment below and let us know. All right, everyone, drive safe.